I got into agility back in 2005 with my little rescue dog, Dylan, and I took her to an obedience class, and I saw a flyer up on the wall for agility, and I thought, wow, that would be really cool. And it was all over from there. And Dylan won a world gold medal in snooker along with a medal in jumpers, and that was the peak. When we were in England, there was a lump that was found on her, and it actually turned out to be cancer. So she went from a world gold medalist to a cancer patient all in the same weekend. When Dylan got sick, I knew I couldn't leave the sport of agility, but I did know that I needed some different things. And that's when we decided to get Ekko. I'm a very competitive person, and I went from Dylan and Duncan, my small dogs, who had a lot of success. And so I had pretty high hopes for Ekko. And I knew it was going to be different going into a big dog than with a small dog, but that didn't change what my goals were going to be. I wanted to be the best that we could be. I wanted to be very competitive with him. He was a difficult dog for me when he was young. He was extremely independent. He very much was a party of one, and I was not invited. He really didn't need me, didn't want me, and it killed me to love this puppy so much, and he really wanted nothing to do with me. I had to stop and think about it. I actually took a step back. I looked at everything. I looked at where we were, where I wanted to be with what my goals are, and I realized he's a very bright dog. I'm not a bad handler. There's got to be something missing. Huh? We signed up for Handling 360 in January of last year, and we started right back at foundation work, right at square one. And by the end of January, I remember being at a trial, and I picked up one of my arms that I normally would have used to bring him in, and he sucked right by a jump. And I couldn't understand until I stepped back and said, oh my gosh, that's one of the drills that we've been doing. He has now learned so well what that arm means, and he came right in, and I thought, wow, that's pretty incredible. For less than a month, he's already being super responsive to my cues. He's taking what we did in those drills, and he's applying them on course that I didn't even plan on. I think without Handling 360, Ekko and I would still be frustrated on course together. I don't think we would have nearly the relationship that we have now. Just this past year in 2015, Ekko was an AKC National finalist, and in December we attended European Open tryouts, and Ekko was named as an alternate to the US European Open team. As Ekko was starting from scratch with Handling 360, I also was at the time that I was starting to train my 6-month-old puppy Sunday, and they got to do the same games as each other, the same foundation flat work together. It was neat watching a young puppy and an experienced dog go through the same kinds of games and drills. At just 17 months old, Sunday actually has more skills at this age than any dog I've ever had. And I was just thinking how incredibly glad I am that Sunday is going to grow up in this Handling 360 system.
Sit.
I think there's a lot of people out there that really want better for themselves and their dogs, and they're frustrated. And I think they believe that it's either the dog can't get any better or they can't get any better, and that's just the way it's going to be, so they keep living with that frustration. I just want to tell people that it doesn't have to be that way. Try Handling 360. I know it's a little scary because it's a different approach, but sometimes a different approach is really what you need. In agility, you get a lot of help from different sources, but there's really only 1 or 2 things that come along that are true game changers. And for me, Handling 360 was one of those.
Hi, I'm Susan Garrett, founder of Handling 360 and world champion of dog agility. If you'd like to learn how you and your dog can have an inspired agility transformation of your own, join us at handling360.com to learn more. Thanks for watching.